If, as a people, you feel like you have so many immigrants in your community or in your country and they seem to be taking your job or impacting different sectors negatively. So, on the 8th of December 2023, I was interviewed by News Central TV. And in this interview, I shared with them some of my thoughts on the new UK immigration laws. Nobody wants to be kicked off.
Finally, having already banned overseas master's students from bringing family members to the UK, I have asked the Migration Advisory Committee to review the graduate route to prevent abuse, to protect the integrity and quality of the UK's outstanding higher education sector.
This clearly means that Nigerians who were hoping to jackpot with family to the UK on the student visa plan may have to look elsewhere or make alternative arrangements from January next year, as explained by Grace, who is a Nigerian student living in the UK.
If, as a people, you feel like you have so many immigrants in your community or in your country and they seem to be taking your job or impacting different sectors negatively, and you're clamoring for change, you expect that the government will act in that light, right? And if the government is not acting in that line, in the next election, you kick them off. Nobody wants to be kicked off. So what do you expect the leaders to do? Do what the people want them to do.
Some Nigerians recently took to Instagram claiming that the new UK migration laws were targeting Nigerians because of the indiscriminate activities of travel bloggers who expose Nigerian tactics. But Grace, who also runs a travel blog alongside studying as an engineer, thinks otherwise.
When it comes to social media content, the UK cannot depend solely on what they say on social media to take decisions. They have data. They work with data. I want us to now channel this anger we have for bloggers, content creators, and even the UK government for making all these sudden changes. We should channel it towards our leaders. If the African leaders, if the Nigerian leaders get it right, we will be okay.
Whatever the case may be.
Okay, so I would share the full answer I gave to the two questions posed to me. About this were just short clips from the YouTube channel of the TV station. It's a dicey one, but if you're already in the UK as a student and you haven't brought your dependents, my advice would be make hay while the sun shines. Get your dependents in. We're already in December. January is just around the corner, so get your dependents in before January 2024 if you can. If you cannot, then it will be good for you to consider completing your course and deciding, do you want to stay here with all that is being said about the graduate visa, or do you want to move to somewhere else? Interestingly, I was reading something yesterday where they talked about the Canadian government trying to increase the proof of funds students will need from 10,000 Canadian dollars to 20,000 Canadian dollars. So it's really not easy anywhere, but like I say all the time, anybody that asks me all this debate and all this, what should we do or what should we not do, or this is happening and this is not happening, won't even be a case if African leaders sit up and do what they need to do for their countries. So my advice, do what is best for your family. You can't stay without your family, so don't leave without finishing your course, but finish up your course, and while doing that, try to get a good job. You know, the new 5 points rule on the whole immigration thing also affects even job seekers. If you do not plan to return back to your home country, explore other countries that have better and more humane or acceptable, as the case may be, immigration laws. That's my advice. It's interesting that you asked this question, and my answer is not going to be different from what I've always thought each time I see their comment on social media. Like, the UK, the United Kingdom, have data. And if you have loads and loads of data and you use it well and analyze it well, you can make informed decisions. So, all the different policies that are being brought up are ways to curb excessive migration because they have a target. Now, it's hilarious to think that we give ourselves the credit. As a content creator, of course, I know some content creators go overboard. There's no doubt about that. We also who consume this content can also play a part. Let me say that here. I see some content creators, I watch their videos, and the information they are giving is half cooked or not really correct. But then you go to the comment section and you see everybody say, wow, you're the best YouTuber, you're best this. Oh, thank you for this information. And I'm like, what? I walk away because what do you want me to say? They believe in what they believe. I stand for this person. So sometimes I would just advise, no matter what I watch, no matter what the person has, 1 million, 2 million followers, I still go back and do my own research. That's my advice. That's what I want everybody who watches all these contents to do. That way, we can call out people who are giving wrong information. And if you do that, you save others from consuming wrong information. But that aside, when it comes to social media content, the UK cannot depend solely on what they say on social media to take decisions. They have data. They work with data. Yes, a lot of these things do not favor a lot of immigrants. And it's only right that we look for where to, put the bulk of the problem on. And I think people have just got this idea that the easiest people to blame is those who carry ring lights and sit down and make videos, But I think if we channel the energy, this annoyance we have for these rules that is going to make it harder for people to migrate, and these videos that supposedly are putting us in a bad light and making them attack us Nigerians. These rules cannot just be for Nigerians. Did you recently talked about the whole illegal migration, not the legal migration now, stopping illegal migration? They brought out their data. Is it also because of those that carried ring lights? Or the new Rwandan policy, is it because of ring lights? I just think we should be more informed, but it's okay. I like the annoyance, I like the anger, but it's channeled in the wrong direction. I want us to now channel this anger we have for bloggers, content creators, and even the UK government for making all these sudden changes. We should channel it towards our leaders. If the African leaders, if the Nigerian leaders get it right, we will be okay. Apart from the fact that the UK government has adequate data, we see policies have been changing at high frequency. Almost every other month there is a new policy, there is this, there is that. But what would you expect if, as a people, you feel like you have so many immigrants in your community or your country and they seem to be taking your job or impacting different sectors negatively, and you're clamoring for change? You expect that the government will act in that light, right? And if the government is not acting in that line, in the next election, you kick them off. Nobody wants to be kicked off. So what do you expect the leaders to do? Do what the people want them to do, especially as we are approaching elections. And then all those decisions are bound to happen. You are bound to have so many policy changes when government keeps changing. I've barely been in the UK for 3 years and I've witnessed 3 prime ministers. I've had 3 prime ministers within my short stay and short time in the UK. Things like this means there's a lot of changes in the system and everyone has their own preferences, their own rules. So whether you like it or not, different government means lots of policy changes. So let's just be rational in our thinking. These things were bound to happen. I don't know if we will say the contents made them happen faster. I doubt. But whatever we say, we should know that this was bound to happen. And if you look at it from all angles, they are working based on the data they have. It's one thing to say it, is another thing for it to come into action, and we'll see how it plays. Time will tell. Because whether you like it or not, some of these sectors, like the health and care sector, is full of foreigners. When people complain that they are not having, we have so many migrants, and that's why it takes time to see a doctor. Even the doctor you're most likely going to see when you get there is still these migrants. So there's a lot of factor that comes into play. But at the end of the day, it's their country. They need to do what is right for their country. So it's our responsibility to hold our leaders responsible and fix our own countries. That's it.